The story of the three trees. Once upon a time, three young trees stood on a hilltop talking about what they hoped to become when they were grown. The first tree looked at the stars and said, "I want to be made into a treasure chest filled with gold, silver, and precious jewels. I want to hold the greatest treasure in the world." The second tree gazed out at the sea and said, "I want to be a mighty ship strong enough to carry kings and conquerors. I want to be powerful and admired by all." The third tree looked up toward heaven and said, "I don't want to leave this hill at all. I want to grow so tall that when people look at me, they will lift their eyes to God and remember Him." Years passed and the trees grew tall and strong. One day woodcutters came and cut them down. The first tree was turned into a simple wooden feeding box for animals. There was no gold, no jewels, only hay. The tree felt forgotten. The second tree was made into a small fishing boat battered by storms and handled by ordinary fishermen, not kings. He felt weak and disappointed. The third tree was cut into rough beams and thrown aside. Later, those beams were lifted up on a hill, nailed together, and used as a cross. The tree felt ashamed and filled with sorrow. But then came God's greater purpose. One quiet night, a baby named Jesus was laid in the feeding box made from the first tree. And suddenly the tree knew it held the greatest treasure the world would ever know: the Savior of mankind. One stormy day, Jesus stepped into the small fishing boat made from the second tree. When he spoke, the wind and the waves obeyed him. And the tree realized it was carrying the King of Heaven greater than any earthly ruler. And on a dark Friday, Jesus was lifted up on the cross made from the third tree. But on the third day, he rose again. And the tree understood that it had been used to point the world, not just upward, but to salvation itself. The meaning God's plans are greater than our dreams. What looks like disappointment may be divine purpose. Surrender to God may lead through suffering, but always toward glory. The story of three trees begins in a serene forest, each tree harboring dreams of greatness, unaware that their desires would lead them to be cut down. They longed for glory and purpose, but little did they know that such transformation often comes through sacrifice. As they stood tall, their dreams whispered through the leaves, yearning for a future that seemed just out of reach. However, God's ways are higher than our understanding, as echoed in Isaiah 5:58. When it feels like you have been cut down and your dreams lie buried, remember the promise found in Jeremiah 29:11. Thoughts of peace and a hope-filled future await. In every ending lies the seed of a new beginning. What may appear as loss is often God crafting something beautiful within us. As the first tree was cut down, it did not understand that its wood would become a sturdy boat carrying people across vast waters to safety in new lands. The second tree, feeling a deep sense of loss, found its essence transformed into beams that would support a magnificent church, a place where countless souls would gather in worship and community. Lastly, the third tree, once proud and tall, became simply a tool for the carpenter, but in that moment of apparent defeat, it was being shaped into something far greater than it could have ever imagined. Each cut was a deliberate act of love, crafting their true purpose out of what felt like devastation. At the foot of the cross, all dreams are surrendered, but remember, nothing given to Christ is ever wasted. It is all part of a beautiful divine plan.